Well, we're going to talk about the rhythm side of things now. And the way I describe this is sort of thinking like a drummer, which is a bit of a strange thing to do if we're in musician circles, but essentially subdividing the guitar up into the elements of a drum kit. So kind of your bass drum and your snare drum for starters. So, you know, a kind of sort of basic rock and sort of groove beat will be kind of this sort of sound. So excuse the Australian beatboxing, but sort of like boo, k, boo, boo, k, boo, k. I should have requested a little Casio keyboard to do that on. But so what I do is then break the guitar up into those elements. So then my bass line, and bass players will often try and sit their bass line with the bass drum in a, you know, in a band. So you kind of get this. So if I'm putting the bass line to that rhythm, you've got boo, k, boo, boo, k, boo, k, boo, boo, k. And then adding kind of a minor 7 chord to the top of that now. You will then accent the top part of the chord on the 2 and 4, which is generally where, you know, most people will clap, unless you're at a kind of old person's concert where they clap on 1 and 3. But that aside, so on 2 and 4, you'll have this. And dividing it up into those elements and kind of thinking like that just helps you kind of put it together and make the whole thing actually a little bit simpler than you kind of think about it at first, in that you're not really playing you know, 2 parts at the same time as such. It's more about the interaction between the 2 parts that gives you your feel and your groove, and actually, you know, means it sounds like you're doing more than what you're doing. And it's also the thing that gives you the ability to do it with a pick a lot of the time, because you can actually, you know, play 2 parts separately, which gives this overall feeling of, you know, a greater, what is it? The sum is greater than the individual or something. Once again, maths aside. So you get this sort of thing. So if you kind of see there, I'm not actually playing 2 parts at once, but it's how each part bounces off the other that creates my feel and the groove. And, you know, by kind of thinking about things like that, it makes it a little less daunting, the whole process of, well, how do I add a bass line to something? It's the more that it's the bounce off each other that creates the overall effect.